Hello, y'all. Unplug that. It's Monday. And because our dear friend Elda is not streaming on official Lotro, I decided I'd play Lotro tonight. And you can see we're playing the same damn character I was playing on the official. On Friday. Yeah, it's like, what night is it? Alright, it's Monday. And me and my direct team lead had a little side bitch fest today. Because there was, I guess, an urgent team meeting because some SVP left the company and was a little bit of a dick about it on the way out. And suddenly now we're scrambling to fill that position and whatever. But during the thing, our relatively new CEO, our company went through, like in May, went through a thing where we joined forces with another company, and that company's CEO took over for our CEO. And I'm not even sure I like the new CEO, because he's one of those guys who wants all hands meetings to have everybody with their camera on. Why? Just so I can stare at the camera for 90 minutes and try not to look fucking bored, or to yawn, or to have a very rambunctious rescue kitten completely distract the meeting by jumping into frame or something. Which is exactly what she did last week during my local team's meeting with our unit's SVP. Thankfully, said SVP has ordered me to make sure that Stormlost appears on every single local meeting. And I, of course, know that having a rampaging rescue kitten disrupting an all-hands global team meeting, not a great idea. So that was a whole last thing. But the reason we had the bitch fest is because one of the big pointers on the new CEO's plan is for the company to invest more in AI, and I immediately started doing this. I kept my peace on the call. But me and my lead had our little bitch fest about how shitty AI is. Especially since the boss said generative AI, which is like the worst ever. So I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. And I was immediately thinking about one of the tasks I have with the company. One of my main roles is that I am the person who writes the knowledge base articles for my team. And I can imagine that, and I told my boss, my immediate team lead, that if they required that I use AI to write those articles, I'd be spending more time fixing what AI fucked up than actually writing articles that I could do it myself. Because there's so much stuff about my job and all of the peculiarities of the tech that we use that even generative AI would not know what the fuck is going on. And I'd be spending all my time fixing its mistakes. And so, it's better to have a human do it. Anywho, that's my rant of the day. Alright, let's go play some Lotro tonight. While I'm done bitching about the team meeting at work today. Stormloss has been a little bit of a hellion kitty. A little bit of a hellion cat. So that's been fun. Alright, we are on our boat. Actually, this is the remains of our ship. There's other players doing these quests. Let me see, I did actually redo, yep, I did that when I was on the official. Let's roll our daily dice and get some money! Get away. Get a good job with more pay and you're okay. And I'm not going to sing anymore because I don't want to get sued by Pink Floyd. Let's browse the shop. And let's save the stuff that we need to save. I'm actually going to keep the map to Esteldine. And the map to the Shire. Because you never know when you might just want a random ass map to the Lone Lands. But hey, we're going to get ourselves 2.25 gold. So hey, I'll take it. Let's get back to work. So we did all the side quests for the Shield Isles. Let me rephrase that. We did all the optional quests for the Epic. Because you can't get them to find them on your sidebar, your quest tracker here. But now we can do all of the other ones and have the quest ring actually tell us where they are. Doxamot, what's up, bud?
Tell me what I can do to help.
Well, apparently you're telling me what I can do to help. Which is, go for a bit of a swim. How you doing tonight, chat? I hope you're doing well. Hope you can hear me okay. Been a wild and woolly weekend. I did not stream Saturday night because I was working Cascade Moot. Which was held in Vancouver, British Columbia. So I was kinda busy. And we didn't get done with it till like 8:30 or something, so there was no way I was gonna have the opportunity to stream. Very sad. But at least I got a second stream in on Friday to make up for it a little bit. We should have Professor Corey back home doing more stream stuff on the official this week. So I'll be on my usual 3 o'clock time on the official Lotro stream. And of course I'll be on DDO stream Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I swam through the barrel. I swam through the barrel. Gonna grab this other barrel and then get that last box of supplies. Because apparently nobody else is willing to get the supplies for everybody. You'd think they'd be interested in making sure they had food and whatnot, but you know.
This is a good start, is it not?
Yep, we did our thing. Wow, that was easy. Okay, then we need to do... Sirgans is the most... I don't know, Sigilith and Sirgans are both interesting.
Do not look so crestfallen, my friend. You must see that the Valar smile upon us.
Well... I'm not sure about that. Okay, let's follow some quest arrows. And again, I'm not too fussed about reading the quest text for the several time. No disrespect intended to the wonderful Maid of Lions, who wrote most of the epic quests, or actually all of it, because I love his stuff. But I'm also working to get this character leveled to cap. And I know some people will be like, well, Druid, why don't you just run Delvings or Thickle Gundu or missions or something? And I'm like, I could do that, especially since I do want to get more stuff going on with the ally reward track. On the other hand, I actually enjoy the story, or playing through the story, or looking at these gorgeous landscapes, more than I do looking at the same landscapes over and over and over and over again. So this is my way of getting the task done while I'm not currently in a hurry to do the thing. Alright. Says look to the south. Okay. We'll follow this arrow. So one of my other Lotro tasks is to go back to my main and continue with the Crown of Hamat story, because my main has completed the epic questline for the Song of Waves and Wind, but the Crown of Hamat content is worthwhile in its own right and fulfills the answer to the question of, why did you introduce the Crown of Hamat thing and not actually follow up on it during the expansion? Well, that's because Maid of Lions is a wacky boy and had something in mind. We knew that was gonna happen. Monothlare, hello! I don't know if crawlers have groins. I'm not sure I want to know if they have groins or not. I do wonder about the water acrobatics of... Okay, we're not in the right place. Here we go. You have to listen for that very soft click and see that your quest tracker changes up a little bit. Okay. And the other one is on the other side of the island. And yes, we're gonna try to ride it as much as we can, because we can cover ground much more quickly that way. I'm gonna run into a tree, run into a rock, run into this, run into that. Hello, Acid Spitting Drake. That was my own damn fault for getting too deep in the water. Oh yeah, we're gonna punch some faces in. They may punch our face in. They may acid our faces off. Hey! I did a thing. Yeah! I think that voice is a little bit too loud or too high pitched. Does not sound like an adult hobbit. And now we need to ride down here. Excuse me. Somehow I managed to avoid getting fall damage on that. Very nice. Alright, seer gun. Hey.
What did you see, my friend?
Oh, a little something something. Okay, got a ring. Speaking of rings. We're gonna get rid of the 500. So basically go from a common or not uncommon to rare. Alright, let's go find Sigileth. I will never shut up about how amazing the waves are. Just imagine how boring this would have been with the water looking like a sheet of glass and no waves. Which is what it was before they fixed, they added this new updated water tech. Sploosh. I mean, it's not perfect. Other games with better engines have better water tech than this. But for Lotro, this is golden. Gonna be golden. Okay, we're not gonna get DMCA'd for singing K-pop Demon Hunter song. No. Nope, 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 nope. And I cannot hit the A5 that actress could hit. Nope. I'll be honest, I don't understand the K-pop phenomenon very much, but I know the K-pop stans are a force to be reckoned with. What's going on in Discord? Alright. Nothing going on I need to worry about.
Our ship was more fortunate than some of the vessels torn apart by the grinding jaws.
Alright, let's go look at some ships. Let's go look at some ships. Actually, this is one of the ships, if I recall correctly. Yeah, she's been here for a long time. Okay. Search the shipwrecks of Shadex Keen for some sign of Cordon. We'll find your brother, but not in the way you expect we will. The funny thing is, I do know there's some story here in the quest isles about certain orcs. I have yet to actually run across that story because I have not done my completionist run yet in the Shield Isles. I need to actually it's another one of my projects for Lotro is I have four main projects. Getting my main through the Hamat story. Getting my main back on her completionist party. And she basically did completionist for most of Eriador. I think when and I started on the Yondershire. Or I might have completed it. I don't remember where I left off on that. I know she was doing some stuff in Cardolan and Swanfleet as well. Make sure my microphone doesn't fall off. Yeah, I think I had been convinced to go back and actually complete all of Eriador, and do that. See, look how pretty this is. We're gonna fight? Okay, we'll fight. Given how little their little groups, you could say the particular batch are matriarchal. Yeah, the idea of female orcs just freaks certain people out, and I don't get it. It's like, look, when, you know, orcs don't just come out of pods in Saruman's camp. It's kind of like when people freak the fuck out when they actually showed a mother and baby orc in Rings of Power. And I'm like, hello? How do you think they make new orcs? What can you do with a daddy sailor? What can you do with a daddy sailor? What can you do with a daddy sailor? Early in the morning. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises. Early in the morning. But speaking of really cool songs about ships, I heard an a cappella version of The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which I know is not a traditional sea shanty, but I saw it on my YouTube recommendations. I'm like, yeah, I gotta listen to this. And it was actually pretty damn good. Because the band, the singers were actually on a ship, I guess similar to the Edmund, or maybe there was a ship that's like a museum copy of the Edmund, and they were basically acting out the story of the Edmund, which I thought was really cool. Punched you in the face, or in the bony pelvis, I don't know. Sigileth, you ran across the water. Did you walk on water like Eddie Money? People want a group of other people that are okay to kill without feeling ill. Imperial Stormtroopers, and then John Boyega's character screwed that up for those same people. Well, John Boyega screwed up a lot of things for a lot of Star Wars
I found a bottle
fans.
wedged into a crack on the deck of that nearby ship.
I'm gonna read the note. My dearest Kasha, we're about to be boarded, and the captain says there's little hope the Corsairs will spare us. He intends to fight to the last man, and they'll try to convince the men to throw down their swords and beg for mercy. I fear he will not change his mind. Know that I go to my death thinking only of you. Farewell, my love. I cannot hope this letter will reach you, but it eases my pain to write this last message. Your Felix. Okay.
The sailor who wrote this note may be dead, but my brother lives still.
She knows it. Okay, talk to Kyber on the Wave Hunter. Let's get back to the Wave Hunter. Yeah, John Boyega got fucking screwed by Star Wars. But then again, I think a certain segment of, again, fandom in air quotes needs to shut the fuck up and go away. And let those of us who actually love and enjoy the various works that are willing to see other world points and acknowledge that other people other than ourselves exist can actually enjoy those properties and expand on those properties in peace and quiet. But yeah. That's why I'm still salty about the Acolyte, because that was so good. The Acolyte was so good. We got to see what happens when a Jedi, or somebody trained in the Jedi arts, decides to choose the dark side and bleeds a lightsaber. Converts a blue lightsaber blade to red. That was some good special effects. Though I do think they kind of wasted Carrie-Anne Moss in that show. Now, I'm not even a big fan of the Matrix movies. I saw the first one maybe once, and I barely remember it. That was the first time it happened on screen, yep. Though, I do hate the fact that they tied in... This is my current problem with Star Wars. Is the Filoni effect. Now, I would like to note, I love Dave Filoni's work on Star Wars. I would just like to see somebody else have a hand in things. The whole other minds and hands thing, which is why I love Rings of Power. Even, you know, Rings of Power does have a few warts, but once you set aside they're not retelling a strict, they're not adapting a single strict, well-written, already fleshed out story. They're having to basically compress all these other ideas and thoughts into make a cohesive story out of it. And of course, listening to Rings and Realms and taking a look at it from a more scholarly approach, and instead of going, oh, they did this wrong or they did that wrong, but think about, okay, where did they get this from? What decisions, how can I see how they came to write this story? Yeah. Same for Torben, same for the wiki. Yeah. They should have gotten a second season. Yeah, basically, the two young Padawan, well, the young knight and the young Padawan, both of them went out way too quickly in like a single episode. And these are like fan favorites. Yeah, no time to develop their characters. And the sad thing is the High Republic cycle is done. They're like, okay, we're going to tell the story of the High Republic, and it's going to go from here to here. But I think the one thing that they need to stop doing with Star Wars and need to stop Filoni from doing all the time is tying everything back to the Filoniverse. It's like how, you know, Marvel Comics is tying everything into the MCU movies. You don't have to do that. They can stand on their own. I understand how Ahsoka came out of Rebels, came out of Clone Wars. That works, but you don't have to have every bit of... And the same with Mandalorian. It's like, the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett was the Mandalorian episodes. But having everything tie into the Skywalker saga and not exploring the thousands of years that Star Wars encompasses. Like, we're talking 5 digits worth of years here, right? That's why I like Star Wars The Old Republic, but Star Wars The Old Republic's problem, it's got 2 main problems. Number 1 is it's tied too much into basically giving nods to everything in the Skywalker saga, right? It started off as a continuation of the old BioWare Knights of the Old Republic story, but they basically started just including things because of the nostalgia factor for something in, you know, for 3,000 years hence. And the other main problem that SWTOR has is the fact that it's one step away from maintenance mode. The rich story that SWTOR started with is all but gone. Now, to be fair, they have been very much largely affected by the writer's strike that recently concluded. So they had to stop putting out most of their story because they didn't have voice actors to act it out. And that was a game that was more impacted by the writers, the voice actor strike than most because of just the sheer percentage of how much of their questing is voiced. And so there's not much they could have done with that. But the game is a shell of its former self. I mean, most of the recent stuff they've been doing, I don't even know if they've continued their epic story. I haven't paid close attention to it, but every time I saw one of their live streams, they were talking about something that could have like their next update included a bit of side optional story that could be completed in like half an hour.
Many members of the crew have returned to the Wave Hunter.
Okay. I'm thinking.
I am sorry to interrupt.
Did you speak the name Ballondor, or have I misheard you? Ballondor the Fleet Fast. Was listed for one of the bounties for which Socklefell would pay a valuable reward. It couldn't be it. Perhaps it could.
Let us not speak of it here.
Hey, we're gonna get ourselves some new togs. A little bit of an upgrade. Heck yes, we'll do it. And it's like, he's still here. I did really appreciate Sirgun's story in this expansion. The animated shows could be such great storytelling vehicle, no creepy agent of Hayden required. Yeah, that was also the other thing. I mean, I loved Obi-Wan. Because Ewan McGregor can do no wrong. And again, Obi-Wan suffered from a lot of the same fandom attacking because, oh my god, how dare you have a non-white person as your leading villain, right? And then you had to turn it. I mean, obviously it was going to be Obi-Wan versus Anakin for the story, but they chose the perfect actress to play a certain part spoil. Well, yeah, it's been a couple years. Spoilers. The little girl they chose to play Leia was perfect. Her chemistry with Ewan McGregor was amazing. I loved Andor. Andor, I was not a huge fan of the first season of Andor because I like my Star Wars with lightsabers and X-Wing fighters, and there are few and far in between in modern Star Wars. I mean, there's some lightsabers, but not as much as I would like, and typically they're lightsabers amongst the bad guys. I did like the idea of Balin's skull in Ahsoka. Rest in peace. Oh god, I'm blanking on the name of the gentleman who played him. My acquaintance Mark Tuttle, who used to work at Daybreak back in the day, who then went on to other employment when they laid him off, along with a whole shit ton of other people at Daybreak. He wound up moving to Texas for another gig, and now spends a lot of time doing professional quality cosplaying designs and outfits. And he's of the build and appearance that he has been able to cosplay as Balin Skull for the past few years. Hell yeah. Ray Stevenson. I thought... I was thinking his first name started with R, his second name started with an S, but I just could not remember the actual name. I don't recall the name of the recast. I don't remember, but somebody who knew Ray. Yeah, I don't know who's taking on the role for next season, but that character was very interesting in that he wasn't all about evil, you know. I do like the shades of gray. But yeah, there's a lot of good meaty material. Like, if Filoni is doing like a lot of Star Wars, I'm okay with it, as long as Filoni's not doing all of the Star Wars. I wanted to see Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie. We're now gonna get a Starfighter movie, which kind of doesn't feel like the same thing.
Thank you for indulging me in this.
All right, you think about your thoughts. But I just didn't like them tying in, for example, the Acolyte into the Skywalker era. You did not need to have
over time,
Darth
Stuart
Plagueis
Denethor
lurking in the
came
background.
to distrust Ballondor.
Alright, Ballondor. Wait for you to gather your thoughts some more.
I am not a man for whom deceit comes easily. The Ballondor that belongs now to the Kindred may not be the same man.
Oh, it is.
In my heart, I know he must be.
Alright. It is the same dude. Your old friend. But I think there's a lot more they could do with Star Wars than just rehashing
You have the look of
bits
someone
and
who
fluff
bears bad
around
tidings.
the Skywalker saga. Let's go to Halrax.
Hi!
Hi. I'm gonna pop chat out, so I don't have to look up and you have to look up my nose. There we go. Okay. Let's go find people who know a little something something. Hi, Wenda. We're gonna fight? Wow. What is this in this bowl? Why is it still moving? I think it's supposed to be like octopus or something, but it's grody. Why does this sound like swoosh swoosh swoosh? This is definitively above water. This is one of the two dudes who was checking our stuff out when we first shipwrecked.
Nariel sent you here to ask for information about Sacrifer's bounty hunters?
The
How
Isles.
did you fare?
Driftwood. Driftwood! This is why we went back to do the Halrose quest. When I first discovered this, I was like, oh, they did it! Because there are two versions of the Driftwood quest. There is the version you get if you do not do the Halrose quest at all, or you do it and tell Halrose to stay in the Shire. And then there's the version we're about to experience, which is what happens if you explicitly tell Halrose to go. Alright. And if you don't do the Halrose quest or you tell them to stay in the Shire, the Driftwood you eventually run across will be like over there someplace. Yes, we're petting all the cats. We're not gonna pet all the cats. They will be doing nothing but petting the cats. Not that there's anything wrong with petting the kitty cats. Which reminds me, I don't know where the little monster is, only I know she's in this room because the office door is closed. And she was in here when I closed it. A professor of what? Anyhow, let's go talk to Driftwood over here. It cannot be! I never thought I would see you again. There can be no mistake. This is Horn of Rohan, though months of hard living on the road and in the wild have weathered his clothes. His face is still familiar, and the war and his worries have left their marks upon it, and he seems more aged than you remember. What brings you to the Shield Isles? You have not let down your own folk as I have, surely. I cannot imagine that. You were always stronger in the mind than I was, with the courage to spare. It's the truth, we both know it, and Nona was stronger than both of us, but what do you have to say of yourself? You're not running away from something, you're always running toward. This is Sigileth. Wait, what? The sister of Corydon. Mm-hmm.
It is true. Corydon is my brother, and he needs our help.
Told of the choice you made when the Battle of Pelennor Field was ended. It's not my place to judge whether your choice is well considered or ill thought, and I will not do so. But I will ask this of you. Did you consider my brother Corydon to be a friend? Did you think you knew him? This then is my last question. Would Corydon come to your aid if your positions were reversed, or would he give in to cowardice and run away, leaving the hard work to others? Ooh, Sigileth strikes true. As sharp as one of her knives. I believe Corydon's sister Sigileth was dead, and that she perished within Dol Guldur before we adventured in Rohan. But no, she's alive and seems eager to shame me on his behalf. Have you learned what happened to Corydon and Helm's Deep? You better tell me what happened to him quickly, for I think his sister may be about to stick me with one of her famous knives, and right now I confess I might deserve it. You tell Horn what you know about Corydon's captivity by the Kindred and your mission to Umbar. When you finish, he rubs his eyes. After the Battle of Pelennor, I wandered without purpose. I came to this land because did not want to get involved, but even that proved a lie. I called myself Bayamire at first, and told myself Horn was dead. But as I lived here, drowning my old sorrows with ale and trying to forget what I had done and what I had been, I saw crimes I could not forgive, and I opposed them, took on a new name, Driftwood. I believed the heirs of Castamere might again threaten Gondor. If they had victory there, would not Rohan be next? So I made things difficult for them as I could. I thought I might get an audience with Balchor's widow if I claimed to have slain one of her enemies, and so end the threat of the heirs of Castamere. Most of my plans ended in the bottom of a mug of ale. When I was Horn and fought alongside friends, it was different. Driftwood is lone. It accomplishes nothing. It is useless. Tell Horn that he could be different, and he shakes his head. This is my place now. I spend my days fighting Corsairs and my nights here drowning in my cups. I suggest you defeat the Corsairs at the Shield Isles for the sake of our past friendship and then return to your ship. Horn is dead. Only Driftwood remains, and he cannot help you. Ay, ay, ay. What a sad sack. Okay, let's go beat up some Corsairs, and there's plenty to go around. We're gonna find more over on the other islands, though. Maybe we'll find enough around here. We'll see. Let's go riding. Let us go riding. Well, this is not the way to go. I'll be honest, the main reason why I'm riding around the island is because I just want to look at the waves. And then we're gonna get thrown off our horsey. Sploosh. Some really amazing music in here for sure. Bill Champagne is a genius. So I think after the stream I'm probably gonna hop over to Dune and get my character out of Arakeen. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Though, to be fair, on... Whoa! Whoops. Oops. That was a fall. I'm going to be playing on a role-playing server with some friends. And we're going to see how that goes. But one thing I do need to do with Dune is spend some time fixing... key bindings and shit. It's not playing like the key binds I'm used to playing from Ark. And I also have to get used to the combat. The combat is very different than what I'm used to. It's very similar to combat that you would have if you're used to playing a bunch of games, such as you know, the Mass Effect games or whatever, where you have like 5 hotkeys or whatever that you can use to attack and, you know, heal yourself or do whatever. I think part of the main issue is that it really wants there to be WASD movement, and I've never been much of... I've never really been very good with WASD movement, I have to say, I'm not gonna lie. Throughout most of my adult gaming life, I just used the... I played games that all I had to do was hold down these 2 buttons, and I'd be able to move forward. But now that I've got a peripheral to do a lot of my movement for me, I want it to use that. But the problem with that is that one of the micro switches on the thing is broken. Do you count as a Corsair? You do not. You're an orc. The goblin. Little goblin. I don't want the goblin pirates. I want actual Corsairs. Come on, let's go. Here we go. Perfect. One more. Okay. Let's go back to Voyage's End, shall we? Why, you little kitten? Being far too quiet, which means I know you're getting into trouble. Or you're eeping, little kitten eepy. Nope, we're not gonna get there from here. Blah. What are you doing? I don't see her anywhere. But I heard something. But that might have been one of the cats using a litter box right outside the office door, which is closed. Or not. I hear the kitten moving around. Little Storm lost. Come here, Little Storm lost. That's my foot. There. Come here. Come here, little kitten. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, little kitten. Come. 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 There. She got the toy from my hand. Hello. Meow. Little squirmy kitten. Meow. What are you doing? Meow. Hold on. Come here. Getting you a treat. Hold still. I can't get you a treat and hold you at the same time. Here, here. 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 No! You dumbass. She didn't get her kitten treat. Come here. Come here, little kitten. Come here. Come here, little kitten. Alright, let's keep going. We've got a ways to go, and a long time to get there. Except we could take the boat from Mar Nafro. It'll be a little bit faster. One thing I've noticed is that DDO's new expansion uses a lot of the same plaster textures in many of the buildings in the new expansion. It's actually kind of funny.
Yahoy!
I have changed my mind.
Seagull is right. Where positions reverse, Cardone will stop at nothing to come to my rescue or yours. Well, join you this, my old friend, if you will have me. The Shield Isles are a place for lost and broken things. Perhaps such things need not stay lost forever. Maybe with friendship they can be repaired. But join you once again for Cordon and to keep the kindred of the coins from endangering Gondor, Rohan, and other more distant lands. I spoke truly when I told you Horn was dead. I am Driftwood now and would have your crew call me by this name. Hope this is agreeable to you. And one more thing. You might have told me Sigilith no longer possesses her famous knives. I might have thought more clearly in Halrax if I knew I was not in danger of being sliced open. You reassured Driftwood that while she no longer possesses Lancashire and Ignazagil, Sigilith has been practicing with her new blade, and even without a name, she still could do considerable damage with it. Oh, he responds. Perfect. Yay! Horn has joined our little party. I'm sorry, Driftwood. Because we should call him by the name he requests that we call him by. And the fact that a quest from level 65 has merit and value in a quest line that is, what, 145? Holy fuck. Maid of Lions plays
When I
a long
suggested that
game.
one of Saklafel's bounty hunters might help us with the rescue of our son,
I envision you would be asking one of them to join the crew. This driftwood proves himself useful, that is one thing, but if he did not even set forth the Corsairs already, how serious can it be about opposing the kindred? I will trust my decision. You better.
we must take the overland route to the city of the Corsairs. We cannot risk any further delay.
Alright, we can do this. Alright, Kyber. What you got?
Traveling to the city of the Corsairs by land will take longer. But we have no other choice.
Okay, and so now our next destination is way the hell down there. So we're going to go to Halrax and then ride from Halrax, go across the island, and then go down here to Bel Inzir, Inzul, and go across that way.
It's a fine day indeed.
Alright. Now we can go the unwise way into the boonies, into the shore, and across to the next island over. So pretty. So pretty. I'm so glad they retrofit this nighttime sky, the Milky Way, with the Shield Isles. There's the Valkyria. There's Manel Makar, aka Manel Vagor. And there's the Ramirez. It makes it more clear. It's more visible on my screen than it might be on your screen. Just how light blue the canon, the book stars are. The book constellations. There's a corpse. Let's loot the corpse. Well, there's this guy, and I kind of want to loot the gold in front of him, but it might be cursed. It might be cursed. Hi. Little Miss Fuzzy Butt. How you doing? I know, she's just playing with a piece of foam that's on my work desk. Oh, this is where the protos are. Let's beat up on some crabs, get some XP. Because one of the things is, until you hit level 145, you may get locked out of some of the epic quests. And of course, this is the same space that they used for a Taste of Crab mission. And since these guys are orange and yellow, they're going to get more XP for them. Want to be careful, stay away from that guy. I'll get my ass kicked by him. Alright, got some free XP out of that. Yeah, this is one of the protos. As you can see, I do not want to fight him. I am here to do my quest. Hi. Meow. Meow. Want a snack? Want a snack? Meow. Want a snack? You want treats? Hold still. Hold still. Here, want a treat? No, stay off the keyboard. No chewing the headphone cables. Hi. Hi. Hello, little kitten. Meow. Hi, Shelly. Tap the keyboard. No, do not chew on that. Do not chew on that. Meow, meow. You want your treat. You know you want it. She's like, you're not taking my damn treat. He's like, "Arr." What's the matter, little kitten? Uh-oh. What are you mad about? She's real upset about something. Little kitten? She's like really pissed about something. Little kitten. Hey, come here. Let's stop it. Come here. I think she's searching for the remnants of her treat. But she wound up turning off one of the monitors. So let me see if I can turn it back on. Nope. Okay, I need you to stop chewing on cables for realsies. Come here. Come here. Here. No, come here. Don't chew on that. Here. Hey, hey. Okay. You got your treat. Right, you're going on the floor. You are going on the floor. Look at this. Look at this little fuzz butt. Look at this little fuzz butt. Actually, I put her over on her own chair.
Yahoy!
Yahoy! Let's go to Jack's Finale. I need to figure out what just happened with that other monitor. So we'll turn the power on now. Oh, well, I'll figure it out after the stream.
Here we are. How much further do you think we have to go?
The Cape of Umbar. We have made it to the final leg of our journey. This is not the road we expected to take, but it is now the one we must walk.
Don't forget to get the stable master.
Umbar is a free city at last.
You have come to Jacques Fanal with a curious group, stranger.
I like how you can now look down the well, you just can't jump down the well. I'm very distressed about this.
You are a helpful sort, then. I smile to hear it.
Alright, let's go retrieve some Umbari books. And beat up some Haradrim, which is always fun to do. What are you doing, you little kitten? What? What's the matter, little kitten? What are you doing? I trickseed her. I trickseed the kitten. She was on the chair. She was on the chair over there. And she was like gonna rear up and like reach out to grab my, to bat my hand. And I pulled my hand back. And she kept going forward and fell forward off the chair. Of course, she didn't hurt anything. She's fallen off of higher things. But it was funny. I tricked the kitten. Now I need to find where my popped out chat ran off to. Here it is. Alright. Ow! You need to just behave yourself. Here. Here. Cat toy. Sometimes all I have to do is throw the cat toy down on the chair and she'll just play with it without me having to do anything else for a while. Which is nice. So this is where it's gonna get a little spicy, I think, because we're getting to where we need to level to keep going. Alright, let's take the books back. This time we'll ride a horse. Go a little bit faster. Hit level 60 on the legendary reward track. Worked out perfect. You had a character ready to climb level 45. You Seeker of Deep Places right when the new track dropped. Nice. Very nice. I would be doing better on the reward track if I played the game more often, but I've been playing a lot of different things. Motro is just one of them. I was originally going to play DDO tonight to continue my adventures in Myth Draenor, but that doesn't really have any kind of timer involved in it, and this does.
I am most grateful.
Okay.
It is almost like it used to be, isn't it?
Yep.
So, this is the Cape of Umbar.
Pick one, anyone, doesn't matter.
No matter what awaits us at the end of the journey, there are still miles to go before we reach it.
The spaceships are cool in No Man's Sky? Hell yeah. Yeah, the Corvette that I posted in Discord is one that I made myself. The other two were ones that I found. Okay, the Normandy was actually part of an expedition where that was the end reward. It was a collaboration they had done with BioWare. So that was really cool. And that's actually what brought me back to No Man's Sky. To always come back whenever there's a new expedition. And I've gotten most of them since then. I think actually I've got all of them since then. But I missed all the ones before that. And I missed when they did the Redux around Christmas time a couple years ago. But the one that looks like a Star Destroyer with racing stripes, that was something that I found and repainted. Yeah. No Man's Sky just keeps getting better and better. I have a feeling, however, that Hello Games uses generative AI in their game, which makes me very, very sad. And it calls into things like, well, I don't want to patronize any game that uses generative AI. On the other hand, this game is amazing. And I'm not sure the stuff that they're doing in No Man's Sky is stuff they could do, have a human person do. And that's actually a point that Deviler brought up, because he did a whole discussion / talk about generative AI in video games, and he's like, well, okay, the environment thing is a thing. You can't get around that. But number two is it taking a job away from somebody? And that was something I hadn't really considered, because I would always assume that, yes, generative AI is taking a job away from somebody. Somebody lost their job so the machine could do this shit instead for free, or for a lot less than paying a salary to a human. But as with any statement, there's always going to be exceptions. You can't just assume that it's always going to be this. There's got to be, it's not a 100% correlation. So, I imagine there are jobs out there that are being done by AI that are not jobs that you want a human being doing.
Umbar is a free city
But I
at
still
last.
am in the boat of, if you're not using an AI programmed with assets that you created yourself, then it's still bad. It's still stolen assets, and that's still a thing you have to work around.
Murder! Murder! Oh, he's nowhere safe anymore.
Well, you know, you're not local, so.
A tall man with a dark beard? I cannot say I saw him. You there! Stay back!
Something smells fishy.
Okay. We can go beat up some more Corsairs. We're actually going to ride to Kutra, because there's some camps of Corsairs real close to that, including the one that was used for a mission. And we can get the stable point and use that to quickly come back. Corsair Deckhand, if you talk to anybody from Australia or maybe New Zealand, you'll hear them refer to dickhands. Because that's how they say deck, is dick. It's more of an I sound than an So we had a lot of fun at Cascade on Saturday. Handled a mild emergency afterwards where somebody got stranded and missed the last ferry of the evening, and so couldn't get back to their home on the island. But she did find someplace safe to stay, and I was able to keep her company online until she was safe and life was good. I ran into a tree. We'll be right back here in a few minutes. A few moments. I will be getting the stable point in this town ahead of us, and then I'll come back and beat some dudes up. It'll be fun.
Good day to you, traveler.
I'll be back. is everybody? Is somebody else questing here? Yep, there was somebody questing here. So I might as well go back down to the entrance and wait for dudes to start respawning. Like that guy, except he's going and killing some more. Do you mind? You shithead. Oh, he sends me a towel, says, I'll let you do the quest. That's very nice of you. I might just be farming these guys. They're a lot louder than I'm used to, that's for sure. I've never been more glad that you ran away from trying to teach university students how to write essays. Now they don't even understand how Chat GPT and flying is not learning or why they should learn. Yeah. I mean, I think of it this way. I can no longer support anything involving J.K. Rowling, but one thing that she wrote that does resonate with me in this era of Chat GPT is in Chamber of Secrets, where Arthur Weasley is admonishing Harry about trusting the Diary of Tom Riddle, right? And Arthur is saying, never trust anything that thinks if you can't tell where it keeps its brain. Or words to that effect. Basically, you don't know where that information came from. And on some level, if you can't trust that information, then you shouldn't use that information. Alright, let's get back to town. And we're going to go back to Kutra, where we got our stable point from. So we pick up some more crafting mats, because why the hell not? Pardon me. Was polite and thanked the other player for giving me time to do my quest.
May the seas be calm and the winds fair.
I think we have made life a little more safe for the folk of Rakatab. But something still bothers me.
She's such a cute little pussy butt. Why this works, I have no idea. There is a better way to get to where we're going. The quote-unquote right way. This is the way we fall through rocks, apparently, to get where we're going.
What have you found? Was Daxamat right?
I kept the guards talking for as long as I could manage, but I had to leave before they became suspicious.
The knife wielded by the blade twist. I've heard tales, but now he is slain and collecting for the bounties. We knew the identity of 3 bounty hunters hired by Saklafel. The only one who's left is Cruel Dancer, and she's probably eliminating competition.
There is one other who expressed an interest in the bounties posted by Sucklefell. Driftwood.
What can Cruel Dancer do to me that I have not already suffered?
What do we do now?
Oh, we're gonna go to Kutra. Because that's the way of things. Those watery funnels will mess you up if you stick around. Game, stop lagging. Now is not a good time for the game to lag. Why am I getting tagged in the Locho Discord? I'm going to refrain from replying to that tag in the official Discord because my reply would be along the lines of, yes, you've said that 20 times now. Hello, little kitten. Meow. I've got a little kitten. I'm gonna pet the little kitten, whether she likes it or not. Hi, little kitten. Hi. She's got ginormous paws. I think she's gonna be a big kitty when she grows up. I just hope she grows out of this hyperactive mode soon. Hi. No bite. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I think one of the other cats at this point really need to cuff her, like, you know, cats will do to discipline one another. Just to kind of let her know that she doesn't rule the house. Because so far they've only just, like, run away from her. And so she'll just chase after them. Yes, you've got dirt on your fur. I'm gonna wash your fur. Yeah, look how cool those waves are. Look how cool that little hobbit is. She's like, ooh, what's that? What's that? What's that? She's interested in what's on screen. Little kitten. Kevin! It was indeed a storm lost. She's been in hell kitten mode today. Which would have been very bad if she decided to make an appearance during the all hands with the entire company meeting today that occurred because one of the SVPs got fired. And let's just say there was a little company drama. A little bit of corporate drama going on. SVP bib news, yeah. Because apparently, when he left, he noticed he still had privileges in the system and made it known that he still had privileges. And he was like the SVP of technology. So, yeah. So he was kind of rubbing their noses in the fact that they didn't immediately fire, you know, remove all of his access the moment they fired his ass. It's very different than my local team meeting, which is led by a lady in the UK, who, when Storm lost, well, one of our other UK expatriates, who now lives in Arizona, demanded that I show them the child because he heard that I'd gotten a rescue kitten, and so he wanted to see the kitten. And when the old, jovial, soon-to-be retiring, most knowledgeable person on the entire team asked to see the kitten, even the SVP of our department was like, yeah, where's the kitten? And so the SVP then immediately and promptly insisted that every of our local team meetings that happens again, I must bring the kitten onto the stream. T-Mobile, a lot of companies go through that. And we actually had...
This is a poor time to visit this village, stranger.
We have also recently changed our VP, or I'm sorry, our boss. our CEO. Either we bought another company or they bought us. I'm not entirely sure. But it was one of those situations where all of a sudden we've got a new CEO. And I missed his introductory meeting because I was away. I think it was actually in March, so it was during PAX weekend when that happened. So I wasn't here for that. And he's the kind of guy who insists that everybody have their webcams on during the meetings. And he does like to talk a lot, so it was supposed to be an hour-long meeting today, and it was like an hour and a half long, and I had to spend a lot of the meeting trying not to look like I was bored out of my skull, because 95% of the meeting had absolutely nothing to do with my team, or the work that we do for the company. We didn't need to be there. Zervon, how is my summer? It's going okay. I rescued a kitten a few weeks ago. And she's currently terrorizing my office here. She's a good little monster, though. After the stream, though, I am going to open the office door and let her go terrorize the other cats. Yeah, if you're in my Discord, you can see pictures of the kitten in the Pets, Pics, and Bits channel. Introducing kitties to each other is kind of hard. Yeah, in this particular case, it's a situation where I wanted her to be more used to humans than they were, because they were rescues as well. But they were originally not going to be staying. Well, that changed, and by the time that decision was made, it was already too late, and they'd already been kind of used to, you know, being on their own all the time.
Did as I asked? This
Yes.
surprises me, stranger.
I did what you asked me to do. It's what I do. I'm a hobbit. The big difference between this kitty and the others are all one family, you know, that's one difference. But the other difference is the fact that she's a medium hair cat. And they're all short hairs. I've never had a longish hair cat. The vet has decided that she was born in mid-July.
We meet again. It is a pleasure to speak with you, as it was
Cruel
before.
dancer.
Who was the woman? What? Cruel dancer? You are joking.
Nope, not joking at all.
But I was looking for you.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate you. Alright, now I have a new outfit that I'm wearing. Got some new boots. I can switch those out. Let's go beat up some dead dudes. Take your older cat to the vet for 20 minutes and bring him back, and the other cat will spend 4 days wanting to kill him. Oh, man, yeah. Because suddenly your older cat doesn't smell the same. So the kitten is in hyperactive age, so I hope she grows out of it pretty quickly, because one of the things she likes to do is to treat my legs as things to climb with her sharp little claws. And so I've taken to wrapping a towel around my legs when I'm sitting down. Though it seems that it's probably best that I go. I don't know. I should get some leather greaves or something from Ren Fair. Alright, dead dude. Let's kill the dead dude. A little goober, you may have missed it. What, her name is Stormlost. And she has a Twitch emote. The dead arm counts as a dead. Eek, Temple of Sauron!
I had thought to help the people of Kutra with their difficulties.
This was the beacon tower of Calaterion, constructed by Elendil as a mighty monument of Númenor.
I've heard tales from Glorfindel of the Vandasar that stood within it, or much of its history. Erisar, as clear as crystal, shining so brightly, could be seen even from far off in the bay. I know it was destroyed by the Bright Company to loosen Sauron's bonds upon the men of Harad during the War of the Great Alliance. Wait, who's on Lecture Stream? Oh, okay. Tower itself survived that battle and would stand for almost 3,000 more years, but it would not stand forever. When the Church of the All-Seeing came to Umbar in the vanguard of the Empire of Ordach, they were servants of that church who resented that which Calaterion represented. They were the Nazgul. The Forsaken Reaver at their head with sorcery. He and his allies toppled the tower, and the memory of that day has lived on in whisper ever since. Even Glorfindel wished not to speak of it, but he told me the name by which the folk of Umbar recall that day. Mut Tadawul, the death of light. Forsaken Reaver must have perished with his master when Frodo cast the ring into the cracks of doom. But Calaterion remains toppled. It has reminded me that evil deeds are not undone by the destruction of those who wrought them. Alright. Let's keep going. And then our first view of Umbar. Let's actually go up here. Okay, let's go up there. You silly war steed. Come on, back up here. Come on. Back up here. Come on, come on. Don't make me put you in walk mode. Let's do this. That's not how you walk. I wonder if Scenario made that way. I think Scenario was not the one who did this part of the landscape. He did the Shield Isles. I don't think he did Umbar itself. Somebody else did it. What a view, though. What a view of the city. And the stars on the clouds, and the Citadel of the Winds, and the beacon. Though to be fair, this is actually a better view than it used to be. Of course, we can only see portions of this part of the city because of the draw distance. But we didn't used to be able to see this structure up here, or half the structures in the city itself. So that is still pretty damn cool. Alright, let's get back to our game here. You can see the remains, some remains of Calaterion here. And if you don't do the side quests, they're not all here. Like Bruidus and Rosarin won't be there, Gualong, Gongur. You will still get the big ones, Sigaleth, Legolas, and Gimli, Sergen, Nariel. But you won't get the twins, you won't get Galangam either, so...
We are almost there. We are likely to attract unwelcome attention if we approach the city as a group.
So basically, this is like Captain Kirk telling the crew of the Enterprise to go, you know, mingle around while he and Spock go do a little horse trading. To quote the good captain, you look like a cadet review. Hold that thought, Kyber. I need to talk to this very
Fair
important-
winds to you.
Hi.
So this is the city of the Corsairs. I am a long way from home.
Oh, you are. And now we have the city quests, which again, you have 5 that are required. You have 5 that are optional. Thank you for the follow. And the 5 that are required will help you find them. The 5 that are optional will not. So, yawn. I'm gonna turn on my other monitor, and we're gonna pull up the wiki. Open a new tab. To the wiki, lotro-wiki.com. And I'll go to the chapter. Whoa, that's very bright. Let's put this over on the other monitor. Where it'll be bright, but in a different direction. Okay, chapter 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 optionals. But technically there's only 6. Because 2 of them are with relation to driftwood, and it's 1 for each version of driftwood. I am super tired. And I know why I'm super tired. You know, it's not insomnia so much as I was awakened in the middle of the night. And it took me about an hour and a half to get back to sleep. But it wasn't merely insomnia. Okay, Munites. No, it had nothing to do with the kitten. The one good thing about the kitten is typically when I put her in her carrier, I also give her a little food on a dish inside the carrier. And she tends to sleep all night long once the lights are out. The problem is, I don't like sleeping more than like 6 hours. But when that 6 hours gets interrupted by a nasty Charlie horse, it's no fun, as you can imagine. Okay. Let's go find some of the other quests we have to do. So I'm actually going to ignore the quests that have the quest ring. I like to sleep between 9 and 10. Been a while since I've been able to. Yeah. I personally prefer to sleep from like 3 a.m. to 10 or 11. Yeah, September 8th indeed has been Star Trek Day. You celebrated by watching 2 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. That is such a great series. I'm not gonna lie. I love SNW. Alright. So, watched and watchful. That's the twins, and we're gonna save their quest for later. Gallengam's first customer, will do that one. So we want to go to the Rover's Yard, which is basically pretty much where you see the money right here. So we're gonna go to the Vault Keeper. Your friends are playing Lord of the Rings 5, 5th edition. So you're playing the One Ring? By Free League, I think it is. And it's Lord of the Rings, so it's not exactly off topic, is it? Yeah, I actually played a 6-session campaign, and I could only be there for 5 of the sessions. But my character won in the end. Ha ha ha. And this was the first edition, back when Cubicle 7 was doing it. And the DM was a German philologist graduate student from Signum University. Myself. A dude in, I believe, Norway? Or Germany? Actually, I think he was German. We're out that way because his name was Johannes. And one of the other ones was an elderly gentleman who looked very much like Gandalf called Tim. And the final player was the person who wanted to play with everybody else and originally was hoping to play with Professor Corey, who unfortunately was too busy to play. And Corey is the one who suggested our German philologist student as DM. But the final player was one Mr. Cordovin. And he played Bjorning. And he did a growly Bjorning voice for it, which was amazing. And ironically enough, he accidentally named his character after a Lotro NPC. Frederick the Elder, in fact. I laughed so damn hard. I was like, dude, you named your character after the dude from Oscar Ruth? But
Umbar
because
is a free city at last.
our DM was a German philologist, basically good with languages, we kind of had a lot of German philology kind of names, like old Middle Eastern, not Middle Eastern, Middle Ages names, Anglo-Saxon shit. It was amazing. And of course, one of the characters we got to interact with was called
The
Hrothgar.
principles of buying and selling hold true no matter where you go in this world.
Okay. Post notices. This does make me a little sad. I understand why it happens, but it still makes me a little sad. Especially since the one leading you to this place is flush against the wall. Oh no! We found the man who's the leader of the Kindred of the Coins! Well, we didn't find her, but we find Found something else.
I told you the customers would come here in droves.
Gallingam doesn't know who this
No
is.
merchants have come to my city during the months following the war. Did you come by ship?
He spent nothing.
My first customer was not a customer at all, for he did not buy anything. Disaster.
All right. Your priorities are somewhat askew. Well, I'm not trying to be a merchant like you, buddy. Alright, next. Let's do the Gongur one. And that one is going to be down this away. And that means we can pick up the Gate of Sorrow stable master on the way. Alright, Gallingam, we're gonna leave you to your weird ass shit because you are not paying attention. He does not know how to read the room. And I am actually making a pointed choice not to ride a horse in Umbar Baharbel because performance is bad enough without it. It's bad enough without it. Oh, I can't put the kitty here. I guess you just can't do it while the quest is up. Nariel, we're gonna hold that thought because I can always come back and find you later.
Fair winds to you.
Thank you. So what is performance so bad there? Just an old... Yeah, mostly an old game engine is probably the biggest issue. There's also the fact that a lot more people came back to play the game than Standing Stone was expecting. And so while they did try to mitigate it by opening up a third 64-bit server in each region, they weren't at all successful in encouraging a bunch of the top-end raiders to switch servers. To be fair, they never offered any incentive to do so, but the only incentive they didn't even offer this incentive or keep banging this particular drum, but it's like, look, bud, if you want better performance, go to this other server that doesn't have as many people on it. You'll get better performance. Hello? But yeah. I mean, the real problem was a lot of people didn't want to transfer again, and I can't honestly say that I blame them any.
I thought I would find the answers I sought in the dwarf quarter of the city, but it's shut to outsiders.
Listen to me, my friends.
Alright, now we'll risk a horse in town because we're going all the freaking way over here. Nope, we're going over here. We're going over here. Nope, we're going over here. It's still a ways to go. Is Sting high pop? It's not. Sting is the smallest one of the North American servers because Sting and Grand in the EU were open way later than the other two servers, and they're kind of suffering a little bit of Ithil-itis. Like when Ithil and Honor were out, like Honor was going to be the legendary server, and then things went severely south, so they opened up Ithil, but Ithil never really caught on as much. Because again, people didn't want to transfer. They already got their names. They already settled in. Now, if Standing Stone had released both servers at the same time, life would have been a lot better. Or if they had, you know, done all three servers, Grand, Sting, Sting, Peregrine, and Mary. Hold on. Sting, Peregrine, and Glamdring all at once, and then Grand, Orcrist, and Meriadoc all at once. They would have had a lot better time of it, but it didn't work out that way.
Carver Girma has agreed to answer any questions I might have.
You speak of Abashal, my new friend.
You're on Sting,
It
but
can
you're
be
solo.
no other.
Yeah, Sting is great for soloing. I have a slew of characters on Sting. Oops, sorry, kitten. I moved the kitten. She was by my foot. And I'm running a Fearless project on there to run characters on the lowest Fearless, which is difficulty +3, to get the titles. But it's a project I'm doing on a long-term sort of basis. My immediate goal is to get everybody to level 20 and to get the Undying title, which is not part of the formal thing about running on Fearless, but it's always a nice little milestone before you do the slog to 50. Alright. Gongur found the information he's looking for.
I have a name to apply to the most beautiful gemstone upon which I have ever laid my eyes.
Okay, we got Gongur's quest done. We're close to Brutus and Rosarin, so we'll do theirs. And that would entail us going back here. And we did forget to get the stable point back here anyway, so this is a good thing. I am super tired.
Good day to you, traveler.
This horse looks like it's trying to take a shit. Because only Arabians will lift their tail in a certain way while they're running. And so they were trying to evoke the Arabian horses, of course. Of course. Druidus!
Oh, the fleet bastards well defended.
Okay. Let's go be sneaky. And so this quest is a little bit difficult, especially if you don't have your sound turned on. You have to, like, hear where the game does that little soft clicking sound. Or keep an eye out for the, for the quest rings and hope you're in the right spot. Well, at least he's sort of playing his flute right. He's playing out of the side of his mouth. Does this person have tattoos on her arm? Oh no, it's just a colorful sleeve of paisley. This person's playing her flute out of the side of her mouth. I do remember when Northern Mirkwood came out, and all of the elves in Felagoth who were playing their recorders like this, and the flautists were playing their thing. But bearing in mind that I'm holding. Okay, they were actually playing it like this, like they were left-handed. Which you can see look kind of, I don't know. But basically, the flautists were playing backwards, and other things, instruments of the woodwind variety were also being played wrong. And I told Cordovan about it after putting in a bug report, and it got fixed because, as he said, no, we just can't have that. Because he, of course, plays the flute. Listen for the click, there it is. And with the sound of my character's footprints, footsteps, the clicking sound that triggers the quest is very, very, it's hard to tell. Yeah, that's the jail. Hold on. No, it's not. That's the barracks. Alright, let's go back to Druidus. I am making a point of ignoring the regular quests, the main ones, because I want to get the side quest done first. I do have to say the frame rate is actually a lot nicer now than it used to be. That may also be because since the last time I started racing my ass through Umbar, I had upgraded my computer late last year. So this one does a lot better with Umbar. Close enough.
What have you learned of the defenses within the fleet fast?
Let's go talk to Rosarin. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Nope, not you. Siren is wearing his Swan Knight uniform. It's gonna get him shanked.
Druidis suggested I find some garb that would allow me to pass undetected within the fleet fast, but I refused.
Okay. So we now have the twins, Gualong, and the Driftwood one. Let's look at Gualong's first. Gualong is up by the Citadel. I'm sorry, by the amphitheater. So, got a ways to go to get there. It's actually going to be quicker to go to the west gate and ride out that away. Or maybe not, actually. Bang, alright. But we're gonna ignore Sirgan. This is the rich people's part of town. There's a nice little quest here that you'll run across, and it will expect you to have been paying attention to the story so far. If you haven't been paying attention to the story so far, you're gonna be in trouble. You can guess the answer to the questions, but what's going on here?
day to you, traveler.
Thank you. Done the wrong damn window. Wait, I don't think we're here. No, we're definitely... Yeah, it's definitely on the other side of the amphitheater. Okay, well hang on to that one. Because we can do that one when we go talk to the elf boys. The other one we're going to is on the way to where we're going. There really isn't a way to get there from here, and that is by design. Whoops. Well, that's not right. See, you can't get through it because they want you to force you to go through the city to get where you're going. I guess suppose it makes a kind of sense. I don't know how those dudes got up there. Probably somebody like leaned up a ladder against it and somebody climbed up and then they took the ladder away. It's like, you can't get up here to mess with our guards, haha. But our guards can rain hellfire down upon you. I do love these mosaics so much. Come on, let's go. Yes, Sigileth, we see you, but we'll come back to you.
May the seas be calm and the winds fair.
Okay, we actually missed a turn. We need to turn here. That's okay, we found a new stable master, so that was nice. This is the road we're gonna take. And here's the boys.
Umbar is a free city at last.
It is a free city. How nice of you to have noticed that your city is free. We're almost done. We'll do the 2 quests for this.
My brother and I were walking through the lower ward of the city when a man approached us. I told Elro here I do not trust this man, but that is not enough for us to refuse him.
And there's also the one that's here. That we can do while we're here.
I'm sorry, but I am really not in the mood for talking right now.
Okay. Are you sure about that?
I need some time to be alone with my thoughts for now.
Alright, 10 minutes. There's definitely a kitten parked next to my foot. And now the cool thing is we can see what's across the way and we know what's there because we have been there. For those of us who have gone further afield. made a friend for life. And we have leveled up. Yes! 145. So that's gonna make... That means I can collect all the rest of the quests in the thingy here, which is really nice. Now, though, do I have to reforge? They don't say ready to reforge. I think I have to do it on the 146 tier. Yeah. And yes, I did call it the Terrible Tankard after an item in World of Warcraft. Alright, let's go talk to the boys, though.
We are about to see if this is a trap.
Oh, we brought some friends, as expected. That's pretty plain. That was actually kind of really fun. I'm actually going to turn the screen off. It's very bright. The desert buffalo. Speaking of buffalo, holy shit, did anybody see the end of the Bills game last night? I was not watching live. I probably would have had a stroke. But let's just say they had 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They were down by 15 points. And they won by by 2 points because of a field goal at the last second. Because Josh fucking Allen rolled them.
The heirs of Castamere and the Church of the All-Seeing ruled this city for many years.
Sports ball.
So it was a trap. But it turns out it was a trap in which the ones who set it were the first caught.
Okay. The mention of elves from the Oasis is very interesting. I've never heard of elves living across the Southern Desert before. Learn more about them, and I am sure Elder here feels similarly. It is most intriguing. Okay. Let's go hang out with our boy. And we'll give him his 3 minutes. And I believe that will conclude our side quests for the city. Let me check that screen I just turned off. And it's gonna make everything spaz out for a second. Yes, it did. Whenever I turn on one of these two monitors, it always causes everything to spaz out. Doesn't matter which one I turn on. Yeah, so we did the twins, Gallingam, the Burb. Yep, this is it. Let's get comfy. Alright, just 30 some odd seconds left. I'm debating snacks for tonight, though. Something plain, I think. Oh, Kitty is eeping at my feetses. Alright, where'd he go? Somewhere outside of the city. And... he's just inside the gate. He's in the pub. He's over by the pub. This is my favorite pub sign. The crab and the cutlass.
I have been thinking. I think I may have been wrong.
These past 2 months have been difficult. I abandoned my kingdom, my friends, and the woman I love, and I thought it was for their own good. I punished myself for the weakness I saw in myself. Believe my wife and kingdom would be better off without relying on such a man as I am. Horn perished on the Pelennor and Driftwood was born, but that death and that birthday changed nothing. I told myself it was the right, but it was not. I'm done with being alone. I think once our mission is concluded, I might be brave enough to see Nona again. Will you come with me when the time comes? Yes! I do not think she'll be happy to see me. She'll knock you on your ass, and you'll deserve it. Okay, let's grab that. Okay, so we have done all the side quests for Umbar Baharbil, for the ship crew. And that takes us past our 3-hour mark, which means it's time for me to get out of here. I'm going to go pet the kitten, if she'll let me, and not bite my fingers. I will be back I expect on Thursday. We'll see how it goes after work. I will be on Lotra stream on Friday for sure. And Saturday I should be able to stream as well. Alright. You know the drill. Be good. And if you can't be good, then I insist you be good at it. Alright? Talk to you later. Bye now.